I spent most of last weekend on Last Epoch, patch 0.9.2, and I'm here to talk about the good, the bad and the concerns. Overall though, I had fun playing the game. Hey everyone, Thyworm here with my thoughts on the latest Last Epoch patch. I'm going to divide this into things I enjoyed, things I didn't enjoy, and things I'm a little concerned about or much concerned about. If you enjoy ARPG content, subscribe for more. Starting with the good, the Rune Master, the main attraction of this patch of course, and it delivers, I'm happy to say. This is definitely a more advanced class, which is probably why I suck at it, but it's good Last Epoch also dabbles into more intermediate or pro classes with a high skill ceiling. The Rune Master definitely fits that description with tons of combos made possible with runic invocation. It's very distinct in its class design, there's a lot of class identity here and above all it's fun to play. I don't really dare commenting on the balance, but for what it's worth, builds are ranging from very deterministic combos using specially designed uniques to pull them off, or complete chaos builds with random shit happening all the time, which is what I've been doing. Clearly the latter won't get you too far, but I made it to empowered timelines and had a great time messing around with all the elemental abilities on the screen. Definitely looking forward to the last two subclasses in that regard. Another highlight for me is the new unique design. I feel it's a step up from before, and the new uniques, especially those designed around the Rune Master, are actually unique, come with interesting affixes and allow pretty much builds entirely by themselves. I found a wand which forced me to manually cast different runes, and if I would keep up that tedious task, I'd get stacks of spell damage and casting speed. Annoying to play, but it has a decent payoff. I found a unique which cast a specific cold dot invocation plus a frost wall and made me jump back too. Fun to cast and jump around with, and I played around with it for a while. That frost wall is now my main damage ability, although it requires tweaking still. And I found a two-handed sword which, once equipped, eats the stats of other two-handed swords that you shatter in the crafting bench. It's pretty wacky and I love to see that in ARPGs. I much rather have this nonsense than lore appropriate or game designy things. I'm not sure who designed these uniques, as some are coming from the community, but whoever made these items I just described, well done. Another good point of this patch I'm going to group together, and that is a randomization in the endgame, at least a little bit. It's baby steps honestly, these runic prisons with mages in them and the chests that give specific loot, but they do what they're designed to do, and that is make you excited about finding them. Plus, in case of the mages, it can be rewarding to do the content as well. I did feel that maybe the number of experimental affixes these mages drop is on the low side, and most of them are not interesting or just plain bad, but apart from the actual loot implementation, the design is well executed, I think. And the chests, they're just chests, but I'm making a detour to open them. I like seeing them on my mini-map or overlay map. The loot is worth it, it's quite good, so I'm more than happy with these two changes. Finally, to finish the good part, once again quite a few changes have been made to the campaign and to some bosses as well, like Lagon. Lagon still sucks guys, don't worry, still by far the worst boss fight, but hey. The changes are overall an improvement, although I'm really wondering at this point if more campaign changes are required and if that's going to be the decisive factor for people. If you're still not happy with the campaign at this point, I'm really not sure what to tell you, whether you're a dev at EHG or a newbie playing the game for the first time. The experience is more than fine, perfectly serviceable. The story, not that great, but hey, it's an ARPG, the lore is fine, the visuals are mostly good. Can we just leave this now for a year or two and actually focus on endgame and other aspects that really need work? That would be great. Then onto the bad, there's really not much bad in this patch, because I'm separating the bad from the concerning. If you have no prior knowledge of this game and you start playing today, I feel there's not a lot of bad stuff in the game. Pretty much everything works this patch. I did encounter a lot of bugs more than a week after release, but I wouldn't say those are like bad or game breaking, at least they weren't for me. Others, however, came into the stream and said they stopped playing because they couldn't log in, or crossing zones took minutes, especially in multiplayer. I experienced long waiting times too, but not to that extreme. Whether it's bad or not is mostly your personal experience. It certainly isn't bad for everyone playing this patch, but I do think by far the majority is experiencing some issues to some extent. But then the concerning, which comes into play once you start combining the bad with prior knowledge of the game and its development, which is what I'm doing because I've been covering this game for over 4 years now. These issues, long loading times, unstable servers, multiplayer bugs, are not new. Last Epoch has had issues with this since patch 0.9, which released roughly half a year ago and brought the game online server authoritative play, and that is what's concerning to me. Also, at the moment of writing, 10 days after 0.9.2 launched, not only are the bugs recurring, they're still not fixed. We're almost 2 weeks in and somehow the devs can't get a grip on these connection and loading issues, which are clearly directly tied to their online servers. It doesn't really matter if it's the server itself or the connection or the database, it matters that functionally it makes the game unplayable for quite some players. It matters these issues aren't new, and it matters that it's taking more than 10 days to fix them. And it's not just the connection. There's a whole bunch of bugs, like a whole list, which is here on screen, of known issues, and those are still in the game since this patch launched. Most of these aren't game breaking, only the loading and connection issues really are, but these aren't like small issues either. Enemy in arena and monolith often do not animate properly. I noticed that and it's really weird. Textures can pile up on the ground as you load more monolith echoes, causing strange visuals and increased memory usage. It just flat out makes the game ugly. Certain abilities failing to hit enemies correctly. It's kind of a thing too, right? In a game where killing enemies is pretty much all you do. And personally, with the Rune Master, I noticed way more bugs as well, where my character lags and rubber bands all over the place, through and in terrain, simply because of all the mobility and movement the subclass has. That's not on this list, but it's very noticeable and borderline game breaking because I can't reliably dodge enemy AoE because I have no clue where my character is going to end up. So what am I getting at here? Well, I think this patch is honestly the first patch where content just doesn't seem tested properly. We had the start of LE development 4.5 years ago, where quite some patches literally broke stashes, but that was back in the day, the cowboy years, where shit was launched without really understanding the consequences. Since 2 years or so, the development pipeline has been solid and professionalized. Community testing was done. New content patches had almost never actual big bugs, and if they did occur, they would be fixed within days. Compare that to this patch, and it's quite different. Not only is the patch way buggier than normal, it also brought back older issues, and now we have this list of open and known problems, which in my memory is the first time we have something with so many items on it. And once again, it's after 10 days now, it's still the same list pretty much. Which brings me to the second concern, and that's the future of Last Epoch. I'm not too concerned about the future of the game in the long run, because the game is solid, it's got a decent foundation and all, especially in terms of content. But I'm concerned about the 1.0 release, which is still, at the moment of writing, planned for this year. Assuming they even get all the content in that they want, which at this point is very unlikely, but that's besides the point. Assuming the content is ready, what needs to be on par is the multiplayer infrastructure to support 50,000, maybe even 100,000 people at launch. The peak right now in 0.9.2 was around 6,000, maybe 7,000 players, and the online experience is already pretty bad, I think for most people, and unplayable for some. If this happens during 1.0 and 10 days later it's still not fixed, the game's fucked, right? You're done at that point. The problem isn't, and hasn't been for a while now, the content. The problem is how stable this game runs in online mode, and right now it's a bit of a mess. If they don't get this stuff under control, yeah, that's going to be a huge problem. By that time, it doesn't matter how many subclasses are in the game, or if skills are balanced, or if the graphics look good or not. What matters is shabby online play kills the fun, and that's probably my main concern right now with Last Epoch. Let me know your thoughts and concerns and things you like in the comments below. For now, thanks for watching and catch you in the next one. See you soon. Love you all. Bye.